One.
Champion now, champion forever.
Get another one of these this year.
It's my year, man. Draft day. Let's get it.
Y'all ready to get fucked?
I'm the guy with the 48th pick as his first pick. It's gonna hurt this year.
It's my year.
Garrett Wilson better not fuck me over this year.
Fuck your mother.
Beginner's luck for me.
Hi, I'm Zach, and this is my first year in the Best Night Ever Football League. And this is my first year also participating in the Schard Bowl. I had a pretty disappointing football season, fantasy-wise. My team is shit, like really bad, and it made watching football this season more challenging. It's not very fun just watching your players consistently just shit the bed. And then my drafting skills did not, help with this, shitty team. I made some horrible decisions. And then also I was missing some draft picks. So that, I think in hindsight, it wouldn't have mattered. I think I would have just drafted also some horrible players. And then I'm playing Andrew this week. So Andrew also, his team is pretty bad too. I think we both probably have definitely the worst teams in the league, and that's why we're in the Schard Bowl, so it makes sense. I think the highlight of my season, though, was last week, just scoring almost, 180 on Andrew. That was pretty incredible. I really lucked out with JT and Hubbard, just, almost having, 80 points together. So that always helps, so I'm just praying that Andrew's team just does really nothing this week and just has an average week, and hopefully I can just squeak by, even though, you could make a strong argument my team is worse than Andrew's. So I think right now, I just started watching the 10 a.m. game on Saturday, so watching the Chargers versus the Patriots and seeing Drake May go out. My predictions are, I think anyone could win this game between me and Andrew. I think we both have a shot at losing, which is really nerve-wracking, and I hope I'm never in the Schard Bowl again, because it's very stressful, but it's not the end of the world if we lose, one of us lose. But I hope I just squeak out and make the win, and then next year hopefully I have all my draft picks now, and I have 4 decent keepers. So thanks to Oscar for CD Lamb. That helps a lot, not having Garrett Wilson as a keeper. And then I just hope I draft a little better next year and maybe pay more attention to the waivers and just be a better manager overall. Because you can make a strong argument that might be one of the worst managers this year. So that sums up my 2024 season.
Hello, Best Night Ever League. My name is Andrew Richard, and I am now a 5-time loser, or 5-time Toilet Bowl / Schard Bowl participant, and potentially 5-time loser. This season was just one to forget. Just super unlucky. It happens. It's happened to me a lot. This year was just terrible. But we move forward. Injuries were just crazy this year. Underperforming players were just crazy this year. If I could describe my season in one word, it would just be worst. Because I think now that I'm going to be a 5-time loser, this was definitely the worst of my 5 losing seasons, and that's saying a lot. If you look back in 2019, I drafted players like Damian Williams, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown. So that's saying a lot. And potentially teams could afford to have a team like I had this year and still not lose, considering it was a World Cup year and everybody's in the playoffs. So it really only mattered what happened in week 12. And what happened in week 12 was an absolute nightmare. I mean, I don't think my team broke 80 in week 12 specifically. And if I go to week 13, yeah, I didn't break 180 in 2 weeks. That's insane. And I think that's when I accepted that I was going to lose, just because that right there was just, Michael had his best week. I had my worst week, and you can't really afford to do that when everybody makes the playoffs. And then, so I knew then, and then I got another sign that I was going to lose again because of what happened when I played Bobby week 14 and 15. And what happened in week 14 was Sam Darnold and Josh Allen combined for my score in week 12 with 38 and 55. And on top of that, he had Jordan Addison also get 38 points. So just those two players outscored, I think, my team on, I want to say, 10 weeks. So that was the second sign I knew. So again, I'm accepting very early. And the third sign was my team scored tremendously those weeks. I think I had 293 points in 2 weeks. So that's just under 150 a week. And that's in most cases good enough not to lose. But that was another sign. And then the final sign, as if I needed more signals on why I was going to lose, was Chuba Hubbard, the former backup to the Panthers last year, had 34 points against me, and then Jonathan Taylor, who hasn't elapsed for I think 25 all year, got 45 against me. So all those things just happening in a span of 4 or 5 weeks, it was just written in the stars. And yeah, I think that was just, I mean, you feel down, but then this is going to sound very, bad, but when you win, it's like that feeling just stays with you. And because I've been in this situation before, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same. Maybe it's the new punishment rule. Maybe it's because I won last year. I mean, I don't know. I don't expect anything else other than losing in fantasy, because either I lose or I win. So if I don't win, odds are I'm going to lose in fantasy. But anyway, even though I say I'm going to lose, let's go into the Schard Bowl and / Toilet Bowl. Zach is who I'm going up against. And like I said, the leading sign of Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Taylor getting 80 combined versus me, what awesome luck. But he had a decent team going into the season. He had some players that can really boom or bust. Jonathan Taylor, who has been on the down low, kind of had his comeback season this year. Tua did stay healthy. Kyler Murray also stayed healthy, but those two just never lived up to what they were last year or what they can be. And your first round pick, Garrett Wilson, you traded for CeeDee Lamb, which was a great trade. I mean, looking at this team now, it is a pretty solid fantasy team. You have the number one Ravens wide receiver. You technically have the number one Bills wide receiver. You have the number one Dallas wide receiver. Then you have Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Taylor. Very solid team. And there was no way my team was going to match up to that. So for me, I won. I went 2-11 through the regular season, or maybe it was 2-10 for 12 weeks. And I think Zach was like 3-8-1, or 3-8-1 because he tied with Cam in week 12, so it was 3-9. And I think it's just a combination of those players not living up to Zach's expectations is why he found himself in the toilet bowl. I can go back to his week 12 matchups, or let me click on Zach really quick. Sorry, I should have come prepared. Let's see, Zach. Hawk Tua. yeah, just, I think Garrett Wilson not working out the way he wanted to, even though Garrett Wilson's had a pretty decent year. Inherited Finley's team when you traded away a player like Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs for Tua now is just still an insane trade. And I think if I go back to that trade, it was a first round pick, Tua and Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't remember what the full trade was. In fact, I could maybe find it. Let's go to Thomas's team, who now has him. Yeah, the trade was Russell Wilson, Tyreek Hill, Jahmyr Gibbs to Michael for Joe Mixon, Tua, and a first round pick. Yeah, wild. And I think that still is. You're still feeling. I think Zach's still feeling the effects of that. But that first round pick comes in next year, so maybe I see the up and up for Zach. I think he has a pretty solid team. Unfortunately, this year it didn't work out for him, but I think he is a good, solid foundation moving forward. As for myself, again, drafting some players. Devontae Adams was decent, but then DK Metcalf kind of regressed. And the lack of draft picks, and I think I'm feeling the effects of lack of draft picks with an expansion, because in the past, I want to say I got away with, but I still lost. I got away with trading away those third and fourth round picks, but now those picks are more valuable than ever, especially with an expanded team. I mean, that's another 20 players you're not going to have access to due to those two players, and that's one thing I didn't think about. That's one thing, like last year when I just went berserk trading away to try and win, I didn't take into account what the ramifications are going to be with an expanded draft. And I think now that I know what an expanded draft looks like, I don't think that's going to happen again. If I can go to settings, and then I'm going to just go through kind of the players that I missed out on because I traded away some picks. So I didn't have a pick in the third round, and players that win in the third round go from Matthew Stafford, Stephon Diggs, Laporta, Cooper Kupp, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Joe Mixon, and James Conner. Like, those are very good fantasy players. Just not having a pick in that round definitely hurts you. And then I didn't have a pick in I believe, the sixth round. And then in that round, players like Aaron Rodgers, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Tony Pollard, Lyle McConkey, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, and Bo Nix, and Jameson Williams, or I think that might be Javonte Williams winning that round. Those are really solid players available, and I think going down the list, of my draft, it just nothing worked out. Anyway, so I think that's how my season went. That's why I'm here. Players that kind of sucked for me, if we can just go straight in. Players that sucked for me just in the playoffs in general. Christian McCaffrey coming back was a great sign. Him getting hurt wasn't what I expected. And I've forced him to play DeAndre Swift, who had some good weeks, but the Bears are just abysmal. They lost 9 in a row. They don't know what they're doing. I also had Trevor Lawrence, who got hurt in the playoffs, which sucked. And I didn't want to trade for Aaron Rodgers, but I kind of forced my hand because I didn't want Will Levis. My tight end, Jake Ferguson, who I got in the very last pick. Literally, he's probably the last tight end picked in the draft. I had some expectations for him that he just never lived up to. I think Dak getting hurt also helped. And then DK Metcalf was probably one of the biggest disappointments of 2024, at least. Started the year great, had that injury, and hasn't looked the same since. He regressed. He's not a good route runner. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is taking all those touches. So I honestly blame this season on DK Metcalf not producing the way he has in the past, because I think my team was set up not to lose this year. But then, again, injuries happen. What are you going to do? In this video, I told Zach, tell the league why you don't deserve to lose. But, someone has to lose. And with all the injuries, with how my team performed, I think the league deserves to have a loser that of this caliber, and this is the worst season of any fantasy player in general. And again, Zach inherited a team from Finley who, I mean, that trade maybe set him back at least a season, and it would have been unfortunate if he would have lost. Plus, I think it's good for the new guys to see how a loser goes through the fantasy. So I guess that'll be me this year, which is, I mean, whatever. And I did see. So I'm taping this on Saturday morning, and I've got the news about CD and Chuba Hubbard not playing. And I wish my team would have had a better fight in the losers bracket, because then it would have made this super duper interesting. Because Zach will have to play J.K. Dobbins or someone instead. Which I'm not saying J.K. Dobbins is bad, but he's just not Chuba Hubbard, or putting up Chuba Hubbard numbers. Anyway, right now I'm down by just under 40. I'm at 39. I think is the amount, and Zach still has 2 extra players to play. I mean, I think Zach wins this by 50, if not 60. I don't think it's going to be close. It would take a miracle for me to lose. By miracle, I mean Aaron Rodgers goes into Buffalo, gets 30 points, Devontae Adams gets 40, and Jared Goff at San Fran gets 40, which I don't see happening whatsoever. But yeah, again, this is the last recap of the year, unless someone recaps the Week 17. But this is me bidding you guys a farewell. I'll see you guys at the draft and for my punishment. I'm ready to spin the wheel for a 5th time. There's some good ones in there. There's also some crazy ones. It'll be interesting to see which one I get. But no, again, this year was terrible, but still a fantasy season, one for the books. A lot of crazy things happened. A lot of awesome things happened. Our first year with the league expansion, so that's exciting to see. And Zach, good luck to you. I wish your team would be terrible, but at the same time, I've accepted my fate anyway. So hopefully your spirits are high, and I look forward to seeing you guys in Super Bowl and deciding on keepers. I hope to see crazy trades, and I hope to see people take some swings. Anyway. Peace.
Best Night Ever League. This is Andrew. I say Andrew and Zach. Week 16 recap for the losers in the Toilet Bowl and Schard Bowl. This is the second to last recap. I don't know if we're doing a Week 17 recap, but here it goes really quickly. I'm not going to go through in depth the other matchups. I'm just mainly focused on the championship and the losers bracket. And oh boy, do we have a championship for the books. I'm taping this Saturday morning, so there's going to be some scores already in there from Week 17. But man, this was a shootout. This was a shootout in the making. I think this was under a 5-point lead going into Week 17. Cam's quarterbacks went berserk, combining for 52 points. I mean, if your quarterbacks combine for 52 points, you're on a great path to another championship. Unfortunately, Kim's running backs didn't produce to what they normally do. It looks like Jamar Chase only getting 17 when he's used to getting 20 plus. I mean, that's still really good. Nico Collins only getting 19.5, and then your tight end that you traded for only getting 3.5. Not ideal. Brian Thomas catching that long pass definitely helped you there. What a play. 26.7 points for him, and then your kicker and your defense combined for 20. It looks like, I didn't know you had Debo. When you can't get Debo? Oh, I had no idea. I thought Thomas had Debo. I didn't realize you should have away. That play Debo could have helped you for Nico Collins a little bit, but other than that, I think you played the lineup that everyone else would have played. And then Oscar, who has 2 quarterbacks that combine for 8.5 points. Those are like Andrew quarterback numbers, and he's still in this. I mean, his quarterbacks are the only people that didn't play well on his team. I mean, Barkley got 30. Alexander Madison, who I dropped, got 13.6. Puka only getting you 9.6 is not good. But then Smith and Jigma getting you 20. Your kicker and your defense, oh my gosh, Atlanta's defense getting 27 and your kicker getting 18. you couldn't have asked for anything better than that. I mean, 40 plus points from those two is insane. Um, Man, I cannot believe Oscar is still in it. We have a close matchup. It could go either way. I think predictions, I think I asked a couple people, and I think people predicted Cam would win, but man, if Oscar's quarter, just imagine if Oscar had quarterbacks, he would be just a force to be reckoned with. And then with this matchup, it looks like Jacob and Bobby still have a pretty close matchup here. Um, what a trade for Bobby. I mean, Sam Darnold for, I don't remember what the trade was. Maybe it was for, was it Sam Darnold for, I'm trying to think what that trade was. I can just look at the trade quick. Oh, for Drake London. Oh, yeah. But I mean, that worked out for him. It saved him from not losing. I mean, not that I think Bobby would have lost, but I mean, Sam Darnold these last weeks have been absolutely insane. Um, Getting you 23 points. Josh Allen having his worst week of the year, getting you 10. See, why can't Josh Allen do that when he plays me? When he plays me, he gets 55. When he plays Jacob, he only gets 10. Joe Mixon getting 7, Najee getting 4, not very good. A.J. Brown finally again in the ball. Jameson Williams has become part of that Lions offense, getting 60 there. Addison only getting 12. Yeah, isn't that nice? Addison only getting 12 points. I mean, when he plays me, he gets 40. And then Brandon Aubrey having a great week along with the Bengals defense, getting you a nice 40 piece there. And then Jacobs still in this. I mean, Patty Mahomes looks like he's back, getting 23.7. Bo Nix being Bo Nix, one of the picks of the year, I think. James Conner getting a 27. I want to say Brown getting 16. Justin Jefferson is just absolutely insane, getting you 34.4. Stevenson getting you 10.8, and then Eagles defense getting you 10. So that game's going pretty good, really close there. Um, this one, I think Michael's just going to win, but this was the tale of, they're putting up my team's numbers here. Um, Thomas is starting guys like O'Connell and Winston, not ideal. Justin Herbert getting 21. It's good to see he's still okay. Brissol only getting 11.5 is insane. I'm pretty sure he had this in like the first quarter, which is insane. Jahmyr Gibbs want to trade for Thomas. He's going to be a force to reckon with next year. Your wide receivers getting 20. Your tight end only getting 0.2. That's absolutely insane. And Bucky Irving, another good draft pick here, getting a nice 16. And then for Michael, his quarterback's not doing well. But it's funny when Russell Wilson plays me, he gets 30. When he plays Thomas, he only gets 13. Same thing with Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs this might also go down as a potential trade of the year. Only giving up a second round pick for the running back. What is he? RB5. Yeah, just absolutely insane numbers. Consistent numbers, may I add, from Josh Jacobs. Started the year kind of low. I think Cam traded him like here, was it? So week 3, October 2nd. That would have been. Oh, that would have been closer to here. But yeah, ever since Michael's got him, what a crazy turn of events that turned out to be. Devon Achane at 31. This was part of that Jahmyr Gibbs trade. Moving forward, I mean, good trade for both parties there. Yeah, 31 is absolutely insane. Devon Achane, he's just not doing good this year. Kind of a bummer because I think Michael's team was potentially really good. That Drake London trade, only getting you 8. Brock Bowers being the best number 1 tight end this year. What a draft pick that was. And then your defense and you figure combining 3. I mean, I don't think this matchup matters as much. Just money's on the line for 4th and 3rd place. I'm not going to get into Connor and who's missing. Connor and Gregor's matchup because I can't really see it. But I will say, for a loser's bracket, I mean, uh, the score is sort of similar to what it was. I mean, just take away 4 points here and then take away, I think, 15 points here, maybe like 20 points here. And Zach's team just went off. I mean, his quarterback's combining for 30. That's pretty standard. I mean, nothing you can really do on that front. Um, and then, shoot, hang on. And then his running backs combining for a measly 79 points, almost 80. Chuba Hubbard getting 152 yards. That game went into overtime, and he got, I think it was 13 or 14 extra points in overtime. He had that 50-yard run, and then I think he may have got like 16 points in overtime. What a what a week for Chuba Hubbard. And then Jonathan Taylor on top of that. Jonathan Taylor had the top three longest touchdowns of the week, and his were back to back. I think he had a 70-yard one and a 50-yard one, 218 yards on the ground, 13 touchdowns, 29 carries. Both of his running backs. See, if you look at my running backs had combined 22 carries. His running backs combined for, I think that's what, 55, 54 carries. Absolutely insane. Um, so those helped you out there. Your receivers didn't help you out hardly at all, or at least the Bills players didn't, because Josh Allen just didn't play that well that week. But Zay Flowers had that long catch in that game, getting you 100 yards in that bonus, and then your kicker and your defense. Buffalo Bills was solid defense pickup. Kicking your defense combining for 24. What a week for Zach. I think he put up 170 or something. I think that's his best all season. Couldn't have come at a better time. As for my team, Aaron Rodgers had that fumble that didn't help him, and Jared Goff played really well. My quarterbacks this year surprisingly didn't disappoint as much. Just, I had to trade for Rodgers, and Trevor Lawrence getting hurt didn't help me. Rico Dowdle, after having a solid run of 100-yard performances, 86-yard performances, just only got 13 touches against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they gave Ezekiel a goal line carry for a touchdown, which still is crazy to me after how much Rico Dowdle's done for this Cowboys team, especially with all the injuries going around. Devontae Adams getting a touchdown and Jennings getting 50 yards, just not what you want. Only 24 points combined. Pacheco I just had everything wrong about Pacheco. I mean, going into the season, he's getting 15 rushes and then 19 for 90, averaging 4.73. I think combined that's close to just under 4 yards a carry. I had high expectations for him. The injury didn't help, but coming back, I thought he would still be this, but turns out he's just not. I mean, I don't think they gave him the ball very much against Las Vegas. I think they wanted to kind of ease him back in, but he averaged 6 points. I was excited, and then the Chargers game happened, and he regressed a little bit, but again, not getting the goal line touches, and then it's just cream hunt down here, getting those goal line, and you see news as like Isaiah Pacheco struggled and etc. Yeah, just not ideal for Pacheco. It's funny, week 12, I wanted to trade him for HM, and Thomas definitely was smart and did not do that because there was a lot of question marks with him, even though I was confident. But you're wrong about some things. You're right about some things. I was way wrong about this guy. And then I played Tucker Kraft, getting a nice 8, and then DK Metcalf, who is very touchdown dependent these days, caught a touchdown. And then my defense and kicker combined for 24. Just not what you want to see. I think I put up 117 and he put up 171 or something like that. That's a big lead. And the only team to give up a lead like that in a loser's bracket would be me. Alvin Kamara, Christmas 2020. And that's just not going to happen because I don't have a player like Alvin Kamara to do that. Yeah, I want to remain hopeful, but at the same time, I've already accepted my fate. As this is Saturday, and I've already seen 3 of my players play, and I needed them to be way better in order for something to happen. But yeah, that's your Week 16 recap. Week 17, my prediction. I mean, I personally think I like Oscar's matchups going into Week 17. In fact, let me change this really quick to see if I can see the matchup. I really like Oscar's matchups. I mean, Saquon Barkley versus Dallas. Man, just seeing his quarterbacks too, though. Mac Jones is playing on a championship team, which, hey, hats off to him. He's playing Tennessee. Who knows what I will do? I like Puka against Arizona. I like Stafford against Arizona. Those are must-win games for the Rams if they want to sneak into the playoffs. Same with same with other players. Johnny Smith has been one of the waiver wire ads of the year. And his defense came to 14. Keenan Allen and Njigba didn't help. Charbonnet also kind of underperformed in that game. Everybody did. I still have Oscar having the edge here, but the more I look at it, the more I think Cam is definitely, just as quarterbacks alone, their matchups are very favorable too. Joe Burrow against Denver. I saw James Winston carve them up, so that could be interesting. Chase will have Patrick Surtain guarding him. We'll see how he does there. Cardinals have to get McBride a touchdown. I mean, this is just ridiculous how many targets and receptions he's had without a touchdown. Brian Thomas being the breakout wide receiver for Jacksonville. Who knows what's going to happen in that game? A lot of Cam's matchups, it looks like, are in the rain, mainly because it's going to rain in Denver and he has three Bengals players, and then it looks like it's going to rain in Tennessee. I don't know how this is going to go. Cam does have the slight edge, I think, because he has way more people to play. He has Miami's defense to play. He has an extra wide receiver to play. Well, I guess, yeah, he has extra wide receiver to play, and then Saquon Barkley can go for a lot of points, so that's what's crazy. I don't. I'll give my. I'm rooting for Oscar for the Conference of Champions, but at the same time, it's just hard to see these projections and argue that Cam might win it all. As for the toilet bowl for Week 17, I mean, Dennis Smith getting a 10, I really can't ask for much out of him. He's just abysmal on that offense. Dickie Metcalf kind of had a letdown, and then Boswell, who was the number one kicker, had one of his worst games all year. So I mean, kickers are kickers. What are you going to do? But I played three players. He's played one, and he still has a 39-point lead. I mean, it would take a lot for me to win this game. He'll play. His projections are off, but he'll have to play J.K. Dobbins here, most likely, and then we'll see how that goes. But I think Zach gets the win here, and I get my name on another trophy this year. We shall see. That is your Week 16 recap. I'm signing off. See you. Best night, everybody.